Long before the stone pyramids lifted above the desert winds, long before mighty rulers sat upon golden seats, the region called Egypt began with one household. That household came from Noah, the man preserved through the massive flood that covered the earth. Noah had 3 sons named Shem, Ham, and Japheth. When the waters withdrew and the ark rested on the mountains of Ararat, these men and their wives started to populate the world with their sons and daughters. From those 3 sons, every people group on earth would emerge. Genesis chapter 10, verses 6 and 7 speak about the children of Ham. And the sons of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. And the sons of Cush were Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Ramah, and Sabteka. Notice carefully the name Mizraim. That name holds great significance. In the Hebrew tongue, Mizraim is the term used for Egypt. Whenever the Old Testament mentions Egypt, it uses this very word. Mizraim was an actual man, the grandson of Noah, and from him came the Egyptian people. Mizraim journeyed with his household to the northeastern part of Africa, to a territory nourished by a vast river known as the Nile. This river overflowed each year and left fertile soil ideal for planting. Mizraim and his descendants settled beside that river and formed villages that would later grow into one of the strongest civilizations ever known. Genesis chapter 10, verses 13 and 14 continue listing the offspring of Mizraim. And Mizraim fathered Ludim, Anamim, Lehabim, Naptuhim, Pathrusim, Casluhim, from whom came the Philistines, and Caphtorim. These were the clans that spread across Egypt and surrounding regions. Egypt did not suddenly appear. It was not built by unknown aliens. Egypt was established by Mizraim, son of Ham and grandson of Noah. From a single ancestor came a nation that would shape the history of God's people. Many years passed after Mizraim founded Egypt. Small communities along the Nile expanded into large cities. Strong monarchs called pharaohs arose and ruled the land. Egypt became wealthy and powerful, known for grain and riches. During that era, there lived a man named Abram in Canaan. God commanded Abram to leave his homeland and travel to another country. Abram obeyed and settled there with his wife Sarai. Then a terrible famine struck Canaan. Rain stopped, crops failed, and food disappeared. Genesis chapter 12, verse 10 explains Abram's decision. And there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down into Egypt to dwell there, for the famine was severe. Egypt still had food because of the Nile. Even when other places suffered drought, the river continued to water fields. So Abram moved his family south into the land of Mizraim's descendants. As they neared Egypt, Abram became fearful. His wife Sarai was beautiful, and he worried the Egyptians might kill him to take her. In Genesis chapter 12, verses 11 to 13, Abram spoke to Sarai, saying, "I know that you are a beautiful woman. When the Egyptians see you, they will say, 'This is his wife,' and they will kill me, but keep you alive. Please say you are my sister, so it may go well with me." Everything unfolded exactly as Abram feared. The Egyptians saw Sarai's beauty, and news reached Pharaoh. Verses 14 and 15 say the Egyptians saw the woman was very beautiful, and she was taken into Pharaoh's house. Pharaoh believed she was only Abram's sister. But the situation was wrong, and God intervened. Verse 17 says, "The Lord struck Pharaoh's house with plagues because of Sarai." When Pharaoh learned the truth, he confronted Abram. Verses 18 to 20 record his words. "Why did you not tell me she was your wife? Take her and go your way." Pharaoh sent them out with all they possessed. This was the first encounter between God's chosen family and Egypt. It would not be the last. Years passed after Abraham left Egypt. Abraham died, and his son Isaac grew old. Isaac had two sons, Jacob and Esau. Jacob, later named Israel, had 12 sons who became the 12 tribes. Among them, Jacob loved Joseph most. Genesis chapter 37, verse 3 states, "Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, and made him a coat of many colors." This robe signaled favoritism. Verse 4 says, "His brothers hated him, and could not speak peacefully to him." Joseph then had dreams. In Genesis chapter 37, verses 6 and 7, he told of sheaves bowing to his sheaf, meaning his brothers would bow to him. Their hatred increased. They planned to kill him when he came to check on them. Genesis chapter 37, verses 19 and 20 reveal their plot. "Let us slay him and see what becomes of his dreams." They threw him into a pit, then sold him to merchants heading to Egypt for 20 pieces of silver. Joseph was taken to Egypt at 17 years old. In Egypt, he was bought by Potiphar, captain of Pharaoh's guard. Genesis chapter 39, verses 2 to 4 say, "The Lord was with Joseph, and he prospered, and Potiphar made him overseer of his house." Trouble came when Potiphar's wife tempted Joseph. He refused, saying, "How can I do this wickedness and sin against God?" She falsely accused him, and he was imprisoned. Even in prison, God was with Joseph. The keeper put him in charge of other prisoners. 2 officials, the butler and baker, had dreams Joseph interpreted. The butler was restored, the baker executed, yet the butler forgot Joseph for 2 years. Then Pharaoh dreamed of 7 fat cows and 7 lean cows. None could interpret until the butler remembered Joseph. Joseph told Pharaoh the dreams meant 7 years of plenty, followed by 7 years of famine, and advised storing grain. Pharaoh promoted Joseph to second in command over Egypt. During the famine, Joseph's brothers came to buy grain and bowed before him, fulfilling his dreams. After testing them, he revealed himself, saying, "God sent me before you to preserve life." Jacob and his family moved to Egypt, 70 people in all, and settled in Goshen. Years later, a new Pharaoh who did not know Joseph enslaved the Israelites. They multiplied, and Pharaoh ordered Hebrew baby boys thrown into the Nile. During this time, Moses was born, placed in a basket, and found by Pharaoh's daughter, who raised him as her son. As an adult, Moses killed an Egyptian and fled to Midian, where he lived 40 years. Later, God appeared to Moses in a burning bush and sent him back to Pharaoh to demand Pharaoh release Israel. Pharaoh refused, and God sent 10 plagues: water to blood, frogs, lice, flies, disease on livestock, boils, hail, locusts, darkness, and finally the death of the firstborn. Israel protected their homes with lamb's blood, and the angel passed over them. Pharaoh finally let them go, and they left with silver and gold, about 600,000 men besides women and children. Pharaoh pursued them to the Red Sea. God parted the waters, and Israel crossed on dry ground. The sea then returned and destroyed the Egyptian army. Israel was free. Centuries later, Solomon allied with Egypt by marrying Pharaoh's daughter and trading horses and linen. This alliance brought wealth, but also spiritual decline. After Solomon, the kingdom divided, and Egypt under Shishak invaded Jerusalem, taking temple treasures. Prophets like Isaiah and Ezekiel warned Israel not to trust Egypt and foretold Egypt's judgment. King Josiah later fought Pharaoh Necho
and was killed at Megiddo. After Babylon destroyed Jerusalem, some Jews fled to Egypt against God's command. Hundreds of years afterward, Egypt became a refuge again when Joseph took the child Jesus there to escape Herod. From its founding by Mizraim to its role in the life of Christ, Egypt remained woven into the unfolding story of God's people.